Hi friends, I have my phone set up on a makeshift tripod, which is actually just a candle, because I wanted to talk to you about what I did today. What I've been meaning to do for the entire month, but I finally did for the first time in a very long time today. I started journaling. I got this journal. This Let's Do This. I think it's a pretty appropriate title for a journal. And I actually just want to read my first entry. It shouldn't take too long. It's only 2 pages front back. But it says a lot about my journaling process and why it's not a thing I do. So here goes. No time like the present. Okay, so off to a rough start because I scratched out a bunch of those first 3 words. I think part of the reason I hate journaling is because I'm so bad at writing, like the physical act of putting pen to page. I have trouble spelling words. Words I know how to spell, of course, but I say them out loud, I can put the connection together. But when I use my hand to write with the words in my head, I feel like that particular connection I'm out of practice with. If I was ever even in practice with it. Not to mention my awful handwriting. Just for the record, this is my handwriting. It's truly atrocious, but I don't make myself feel bad when I say that. It just is really it's bad. It's bad. All right. When I'm trying to get the words out of my head and onto the page, if I can take my time to write, I have fairly decent handwriting, which that particular sentence I actually took the time to write, and you can kind of see, I don't know if you can see it here, but it's like that little bit there. It's a little bit better, but it's still not great. But it's truly appalling how long it takes me to write like that. Not to mention that everything that I don't get out quickly gets backed up. It's like that scene in I Love Lucy, the skit where she has the chocolates on the conveyor belt and she misses one, then they all get backed up. And if I don't get the words out fast enough, then I end up with a bunch of thoughts stuck in my mouth. Whereas just thinking my way through something, I can honestly solve a problem or fix my actions with the snap of a finger, or with the snap of my fingers. Like when I was in school, I didn't take notes because taking notes would have distracted me from paying attention to what the teacher said. The most I would do is write whatever was put on the board, but that was more a show to let them know I was engaged than something I ever really did anything with, or that would help me learn. I have read studies, and I do believe that there is a connection our brains make when we write something down, but I never had the time to make that connection because my brain moves too fast. Plus, if I don't remember it, have I really learned it? That was always my excuse for why I never really took notes or studied. And it was an excuse, I can admit that now. Also, words kind of suck. Like letters are really bad, or are letters really the best, most efficient way to communicate meaning, especially when one word can have multiple meanings? Or are these all just excuses I made up to shield myself from my ADHD and dyslexic brain's inability to perform these tasks without a sincere amount of difficulty? Oh, and another thing, why do I hold my pen like this? Actually, let me just get a pen really quick so I can show you. So, this no joke is how I hold my pens when I write. Why do I do this? I don't know. I've always done it that way. I've always, like, no one taught me to hold them like that. I just do. It's just a thing that happens. So I said, I wish I could draw you a diagram so I could show you how defunctly I hold my pen, but honestly, it makes no sense. And like I said, no one taught me to do it like this, but it hurts. It hurts really bad because I get a blister on my finger here, and then this nail usually digs into this finger because of the way that I'm holding it, and then this finger gets all crampy because of how it's like so, yeah, pointed. So I think that sums up all the reasons why I hate journaling. Now, what to do within the confines of my own brain and my own inability to write well in all of the ways. I don't hold the pen well. I have trouble making the connection of the words. I don't have good handwriting. What am I supposed to do with all of this? Basically, I've decided I'm going to start journaling whatever comes out, even if it's not a word. I'm not going to take the time to go back and fix it. I'm just going to write whatever, because my brain knows what I'm thinking, and I'm hoping eventually my hand will start to figure it out. But ultimately, I'm not going to learn how to hold my pen differently. I feel like it's just been too many years for me to change that. So I won't be writing as long, but I will be giving myself grace in the process of writing. And the last thing that I wrote is that, yep, you can do this, Liz. And let me tell you, this is where I started just writing whatever. And I only know that because I just wrote this. Otherwise, I would not know what this was. Give yourself time. I love you. And so I'm going to try to do this as much as I can without making it something that is so much of a chore that I get no joy from it whatsoever. But I feel good now that I did this, and I feel like I've gotten past the biggest barrier to why I don't just journal, because I want to be that type of person. I want to be the type of person that does journal, like, if not every morning when I first wake up, like on a regular basis. I want to do that, and I want to have that be part of my life. But there's a lot of my own quirks that get in the way of that. So I wanted to share that with you. That was my first journal entry in my new journal, and let's do this. All right, guys, we'll see what happens tomorrow. Bye.